Ba-ba-da-da! Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. This is your home for learning how to play the mandolin, the guitar. Well, two guitars here today, but we teach banjo here as well, as you would imagine, at BanjoBenClark.com. Anyway, today we're looking at a cool old fiddle tune. It's a little different than any other fiddle tune I've taught before. It's called Lost Indian, and I'm excited because today is my first video with this awesome mandolin that I just got. It's an Eastman Mandolin 915. So it's one of their higher end ones, and it's got the varnish. I think you're really going to love how it sounds. It reminds me of like the tone of Chris Thiele's mandolin, which is really cool. I just love that real round, smooth tone. If only I could play like him. Check out this version of Lost Indian. That was it. What do you think about the Eastman? Pretty cool sounding. It's got a great chop on it as well. If you're a Gold Pick member over at BanjoBenClark.com, go on over there and print off these tabs here for Lost Indian. We've got 2 breaks on this one, okay? And I modeled this after an old Kenny Baker recording that I had. He was a great old fiddle player. One of the most famous fiddle players of all time, and I just love his playing, and I love his version of Lost Indian, so I modeled a little bit of this version off of a recording that he had. But we've got a down the neck version, and we've got an up the neck version, which is pretty cool, and we'll learn both of them right here. If you're watching this on YouTube, here in a little while I'll ask you to go over to my website, BanjoBenClark.com, where for just a tiny fee per month, you can join and have access to all these videos and tabs, and I update it each and every week. I have lots of members over there, and they're a happy family, and they'd love to have you come sit down at the picking parlor with them. So let's dive into this first measure of Lost Indian. On this particular fiddle tune, it's in the key of D. This is an old song. Typically, a lot of times we'll have kind of this kickoff, something like that. This time we're not. We're just going to come kind of just right into the melody. We're going to have those 2 little 8th note pickups that you see there in the first measure, leading right into that melody. Now, there are some variations on the melody, and we'll get into kind of an up the neck variation in the second half of this video. But for this basic melody, I've based it off of Kenny Baker's fiddle version to this. Okay, so we're going to see some unique things happen here that come from that old style of fiddle playing. Also, I do want to point out that there are some different chords to this song depending on who you listen to. If you listen to Kenny's version, all it does is go to the B minor, and then it goes back to the D. If you listen to Tony Rice and Peter Rowan, those guys do it, they go to the G after the B minor. Then G, D, A, D. I went ahead and went with the chord progression of Kenny's version, but I do want you to know that this solo that we're going to learn here, both of these solos, are going to be good over either one of those chord progressions, so you don't really have to worry about it. But just slowly leading into measure 2, sounds like this. Okay, pretty straight up. Don't forget to pay attention to your pick strokes. I have them labeled there beneath all of the notes. Down arrow is a down stroke, up arrow is an up stroke. Moving into measure 3. Okay, so far we're just kind of walking around this D scale, this D major scale. Don't forget that towards the end of the video, I'll play it all the way through from beginning to end very, very slowly so you can see it all happen together. But I do want to take a look at measure 4 there because we see something that's a little bit out of the ordinary. Listen to this. Did something sound out of place to you? It did to me. When I first listened to Kenny's version, something sounded out of place. And what he does is he plays a G sharp, that 6th fret, and we're in the key of D. Okay? Typically, if you're in the key of D, you would play something like this. That 5th fret. Okay? But he does this several times throughout the song, as we'll see. And it gives it a really, really unique sound. Okay? Essentially, he's playing the key signature of the key of A over the key of D, which is pretty cool. He's throwing a G sharp in there. If you do it slowly, it doesn't sound good. But if you're playing the song up to speed, it just gives it a little bit of that kind of twang. Okay, it almost sounds like just a little accidental there. Measure 5, we get into that B minor chord, and so I have the D string drawn. It's a little double stop. Perhaps in the version that I recorded at the front of the video, I might have played that D string a few more times than just the first beat. And that's okay to do. Sometimes when I play it, I might do that. But for this particular version, at least the way that the tab reads, I just play at the very first beat, which sounds cool. Now measure 6, we get into this little pattern that's pretty cool. So this little part right here, this whole version is not exactly as Kenny did it, but this couple measures are exactly as Kenny did. We're going to start on the 5th fret of the A string, and we're just going to play over and over again. 5th fret, 2nd fret, open. 5th fret, 2nd fret, open. And we do it 4 times. Okay? And that goes right into measure 7. Measure 7 is pretty simple, but we do see a slide for the first time in this song from the 3rd fret to the 4th fret. So measure 7 sounds like this. Good. And then measure 8 is very similar to the stuff we've seen already. Then coming out of measure 9, we're essentially going to repeat this over again, note for note. Let's take a look at the second solo, because the melody has a little different variation, and we're going to get up the neck and play some cool stuff up there. And again, we're going to see some of that G sharp used there, which is really unique.